Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Quad Damage Podcast. I'm, of course, Deadforge, joined by the usual suspects, High Functioning Medium, Robert,
West Side.
Just the coldest.
Hi.
Oh, God, Jesus, okay. Ruby Ranger,
Hey, kids.
Mayo,
Hey, what's up? I'm here to tank this whole enterprise.
Yeah.
and Trav Guy.
What up?
I'm a usual suspect.
It's the
And
worst
I
kind of-
think we'll be chatting some Dusk and many, many other things. I have no doubt of that at all.
Oh yes.
I said I
So-
would send you. I said I would send you a background to use as my image, something really tacky. So you can go ahead and use that right there.
It's in the chat. It's in the
Right.
chat.
I'll have to check that afterwards then, because I can't come out.
There comes a time where a man must put a cigar in his mouth,
That's-
and sadly he doesn't have a drink to crack open. So
I got coffee.
Milk will do.
The hell?
Milk will do.
Milk's a good drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who
He was
doesn't
not
love
I got
cow
Pedialyte.
milk?
I'm staying well hydrated over here.
H2O.
It's
All
fucking
right.
hot. I've got my windows closed. I got a fan on in the background. It's like fucking 80 degrees outside. Like I'm trying my best to not just die right now.
Okay, so on 3, 2, 1,
3, 2,
Let's-
1.
let's get booming.
Good booming.
Jesus Christ.
Ah!
Dude, I love the duck hunt dog.
Yeah.
That took so long, man, to make that intro, because I don't know if you noticed, but it's one FPS game from each decade. But to find older footage in HD was kind of difficult. Duck Hunt was the only one I could really find, and Mario. What the hell has Deadforge gone?
You said you weren't putting footage in the background and you left.
He bitched out already. Jesus.
a man of principles.
I will be today.
Okay. That.
Oh, we don't even
Oh my
have.
god, Trav.
Come on, Trav. What is going on with your hair, bro? Jesus.
I don't know. I cut it.
No.
And
The hair
now
in the background. Your hair looks good on camera
that?
right now. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that I don't remember.
It's like
I
Trav,
don't
the
remember what was
college
up with
years.
that.
All right, I'm back, bitches.
I'm gonna have to try to come up with. I'm gonna have to try to come up with something tackier than
Leave my
Trav
son's
Guy's
nice.
background. I'm gonna try.
All right.
Good luck.
Are we gonna have a tack off? Is that what we're gonna do? We're
Tack
gonna
off.
try and see. I'll
Always
change
tacking
mine.
off.
I'm
We're
gonna
all
stick.
tacking off, boys.
I'm gonna stick with Bruce. Bruce is a mainstay.
5
of-
dudes
of
in a
me.
jar of mayo. We're tacking it today.
Shout out Bruce.
Yeah.
Fan me down.
By the way, 5 guys in a jar of mayo. That's
That's a good
could
time.
be
That's
the
a good
name of
time.
something
That's
truly
a great
special.
time. That's a great time.
That also could just be the name of the podcast.
Uh,
We're thinking
That
too
is
small.
true.
this is the 25th episode of the
Force
show,
rookie numbers.
and I think every 25th episode we should do this again, because it's only like a few months or something like that. It does like 4 months or whatever.
We keep
Alright.
progressively adding more and more people.
Oh my god.
Maybe like one of those CNN panels where there's like
Yeah, it's just covered.
16 people.
Eventually, we'll have every guest on at the same time because it'll outpace the guests that have come since.
Yeah, so the maximum you can
Oh,
have
money.
on then is like 52 people, then, 'cause it's 52 weeks. I don't know how many.
Jesus Christ.
What's the maximum that Discord can handle? Do you know?
I have no
I
idea.
mean, fucking probably depends on how much you pay it.
Yeah,
You know.
it's true. Yeah.
The nitro and all that.
I don't even
Yeah.
pay for
Deadforge
that.
thought that was funny. I'll take it. Shit.
The mine's
what happened?
somewhere else.
Where'd it
What's
go?
in mine? No, I'll take.
Where have you gone? You've
Been
cut
replaced
out.
by an AI
Oh my god. Yeah.
and then advised to use a condom.
I'm back.
Okay, now he's back. Yeah, now he's back. Nice.
Always use a condom.
Has anyone heard Mayo yet?
I'm
Says
here.
the guy who has like 5 kids.
He's been talking for like 10 minutes now.
I haven't heard a single thing.
I'm in and out, man.
That's what she said.
Yeah, no, Mayo's.
We sound very
Wow.
similar. I get it.
Wait, no, that doesn't even make sense. How is a woman gonna be in and out?
What? Oh, sorry.
You gotta.
If she has a penis,
think more
that's
about
how.
this stuff. You gotta think more about
Or
it.
she
Not
has
that
a
difficult.
strap on. I don't know.
God.
There's plenty of ways.
Okay,
for
you know
women
what?
to-
She's into
I'll
pegging.
give you strap on. I will give
There
you.
This is going in a
strap-on.
lot of directions that I didn't expect.
Okay, cool. So,
That's what she said.
So it truly is 5 guys in a jar of mayo.
It
Okay,
really
now
is,
that was
yeah.
better.
Five guys,
Deadforge.
burgers and fries.
Deadforge. Why don't you
Side of mayo.
lead us in?
Okay, I'll be a tour guide
Silence.
on this.
Yeah.
Real quick. Are y'all joshing me? Because I have not heard a single thing Mayo has said, and that makes me sad.
Really?
Yeah,
It
no,
doesn't
he's
even light
talking
up
for
on my
sure.
screen.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm here.
What the
Oh.
fuck?
I'm hearing him.
I'm hearing
Yeah.
him. That sultry, deep ass
You have, like-
voice.
You have it maybe like accidentally muted or something?
No.
It does do some weird shit like that sometimes.
Was it Trav the Mars bar? Are
Why-
you just picking random
Why that
things now?
happen?
Mayo, say something, mate.
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm good. I just had some tacos and I have a
Alright.
Coke
Oh,
on my
you
side.
look-
I don't know what do you want me to say?
I don't know.
I can hear him
man.
now.
Look on my side.
can hear
He's
him.
just making sure that the guy can hear
Okay.
you.
Ooh, that.
Okay,
I need
alright.
some fucking milk. Hold on.
Nice, nice. Oh my
Yeah.
good lord! Every time I try to get this started, there's a delay. Jeez. Well, thank you for the shot of your ass, Deadforge. It's nice. Yeah.
Woo!
Your ass hot spankable. Yes.
Amen.
This is the best intro we've ever done. Ever. By
Bar
far.
none.
No, this is not officially started. Please tell me this is not the beginning.
It's no.
Not even
No.
close.
What we
No,
can.
no, it's not the beginning.
You,
I haven't even.
My
Fuck
God, man!
yeah.
You sound like
Do
you
it.
just jizzed all
What
over.
the fuck's on my glass?
What the
I'm
hell?
booming.
We're booming shit.
Whew.
Please don't tell me you
Chaotic
put an
energy in
Oreo
here.
in there.
I boomed too fucking hard.
That's, oh my
No
God!
such thing, sir. There's no such.
Straight in the cup.
Is that an Oreo drop shot? He's fucking chugged the milk, and then
Oh
by
my
the time you get
hard
to the
they thought I
Oreo, it's
was
all
a nutsack.
soggy.
Holy shit. Yeah, so what decent games have you guys been playing this week?
Oh boy, nothing.
Nothing, he says.
Nothing.
I'm not surprised with
I've
that
been-
bloody feature-length Metroid video
Warhammer
you just did.
40k Space Marine.
I have only been
Space
working this week.
Marine. I'm
Someone-
playing
I've been-
a. Yeah. Meaty was saying Space Marine. He's playing Space Marine.
Yeah, the old 2013 game,
Cool.
the Warhammer game.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
in the
yeah, yeah,
video, yeah.
That's kind of
Never
fun.
played it.
Nice.
Never
nice.
played it.
I've been playing
It's good though.
an old first-person shooter from '97 called Last Rites. It was only released in Europe. It's like a horror shooter. It feels a lot like a prototype Left 4 Dead.
Oh, okay.
Like if Left 4 Dead
Nice.
was put out on the like
Intriguing.
Terminator System Shock engine.
Huh.
It's pretty interesting.
It was pretty interesting.
I feel like I've heard of that.
I've been dabbling around in some Relentless Frontier because I was supposed to have a. I was gonna try to make a video for that when it came out, and didn't
That
have
one
Yeah, me too.
too much shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Still working
also
on
got a
that,
code for that one, and I haven't even started
yeah.
it yet.
Okay, now I don't feel so bad because I've been
Yeah.
so swamped, and I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I got a code out of nowhere.
yeah, I've kind of had a lot
feel like
going
we're all
on,
hearing
and
it.
I too kind of was just hit up and like, hey, you want a code? I'm like, I mean, yeah, I really want to play the game, and then I was like, oh, I don't got time to play the game.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
I get
it's-
back to the game, and after they updated it, like the day one patch, it erased my save.
Oh.
Oh,
So
Fucking
I
GZ
had to
Doom
start all over.
every
GZ
time they
Doom
update.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah. This is
yeah,
why
I
a
had to
lot
start
of
all
the,
over, and I was like, fuck.
This is why a lot of the GZ Doom games that are in demo state and in early
Yeah.
access and stuff, I replay it once it has its new thing. Yeah, I don't really rely on the saves or anything because it's just I've forgotten. I think it was Shannon, the Major Arlene, that told me that it deletes your saves or something. I didn't even know before that. Yeah, Trav,
Yeah, sadly,
Trav,
that happened.
Trav, what you playing?
let me check my Steam list. So I'm kind of the outlier
That
here.
memorable.
I've been playing a lot of WarioWare and Team Fortress.
What the
Yes.
Team Fortress.
Old school.
Team Fortress fixed the bot problem, so like I've just been all over that, playing it like it's 2010 all over
Hell
again.
yes.
So
Hell
that
yes.
big, was it a boycott or something? That it was a review bomb, wasn't it?
It was a mix of things. It was they were review bombing it until they fixed it. They were trying to get people not to spend money on it, which because a lot of people still were for some reason. And they just one day, like no warning, just like, hey, we fixed it, and a bunch of people came back to play it.
Nice. Mayo, what about yourself?
Oh, I've just been, cruising the streets of Arkham City in the Batmobile, really.
Really?
Having the time of my life.
Yeah, I saw you had that video out.
Origins
Wait,
is
I
an
thought you were
underrated
done.
game.
No, I've playing Conscript, getting my Streets of Rage 4 tutorial guide ready.
Nice.
And honestly, more than playing games for myself, I've been doing a lot of QA work for some indie devs, NDA stuff. I can't really talk about what the titles are, but most of my time playing is like
secret.
playing games that are coming out in a year or two and playing them over and over and writing reports. So
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
great to
I
be
recently
so-
did some voice acting for a new game that's coming out.
Oh,
nice.
really? Really? And are you under NDA?
No, but I'm probably gonna just leave it for a surprise.
Oh, respect.
As far as you're concerned, yes.
Yes, yeah. Respect the privacy. Yeah, I just finished Sprawl. I've been trying to get back.
Sprawl's fun.
Yeah, I've been trying to get back to it for so long, but I kid you not, and you're gonna laugh at it. I couldn't figure out the wall running, so for the longest time I just couldn't play it.
It is weird.
And I sat down.
Wall running is something.
It's
something that
unintuitive.
always gives me a hard time.
Yeah.
And no matter the game, first person or third person, wall running just always.
Yeah.
Can't,
Well,
I never get
Sprawl's
it.
like
I sat down like a week ago and I thought, okay, I'm working my way through my Steam list, and I just finished Forges of Corruption like last week or something, so I was finishing off Sprawl today, and it just clicked for some reason. Just straight away, I was like, it worked for me. I had no problem.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, now I've done it. Now I've got to sit down and actually finish this game. Fucking brilliant game, absolutely brilliant game. I loved it so much. Yeah, I know that Kirk.
did
was
you know-
Yeah, I haven't beat it yet, but it is pretty fun. I actually connected with it pretty good. I mean, I just like the whole cyberpunk thing, and it's like a more challenging game. It's
It
fast.
is, yeah.
The wall running is weird. It's not like smooth like something like Titanfall, but it's more
It's in bursts.
momentum
so you gotta
driven.
Figure out your bursts. Yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of gotta go. It's not like you're
Weird.
gonna run across at like high speed. It's more like short, and then you
And you
kind of jump
descend.
off.
You like you descend downwards with each
Yes.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There,
Have you played? No.
if-
Have you played
if-
Killbug? Have you? Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Oh, no, go Killbug.
How could
Yeah,
you?
we can talk Killbug. Fuck.
I was gonna
Oh,
say, have you played Killbug? Because it's that sounds very similar to the wall running in Killbug, which is like the only wall running I've ever been able to click with.
No, I didn't even know
never
that game
played
had
it,
wall
no.
running.
No.
Killbug's.
Yeah.
I haven't played it.
I
The-
didn't-
If you look at the beginning of Sprawl in the tutorial section, the first time that it asks you to wall run, as soon as you get across the wall run, if you look to the right, there's a Mayo symbol on
Yeah,
the
I found
ground
that, I
that
found
the
that, yeah.
dev put that the
course
dev put there. There's a Mayo symbol right
Nice.
there because I was testing the game before it came out, and I was doing that wall running section, and I was like, this is beyond frustrating. I was like, you need to extend the landing section by just like a couple inches, because it was just a little too far off
Yeah.
Yeah.
to where if you didn't really get the wall running, you were just falling and falling and falling. It was to the point where it would make you want to rage quit a tutorial.
That's not good.
And I was like, okay, look, just extend it a little bit further to where people get it, but they can be better at it. And so he put that there, and he put the angry Mayo icon there on the right side as a way to pay tribute to it. And I was like, I'm cool with
Nice.
that. I'm cool with that.
The final boss, I
Nice.
thought, was easier than expected. Obviously, no spoilers for anyone that hasn't played it. But
But I want to know now.
good lord, man, Jesus! Oh, I would like to retain the use of my ears, Trav. Thank you.
90% dick anyway. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but the episode 3, the difficulty just it spiked so high for episode 3 because of course this is when you're dealing with waves instead of groups of people. And by the end of it, I sat there and I just kind of admired life, and I was like, that was an experience, I felt good after it. But I didn't realize that the Sprawl was a phrase from William Gibson's cyberpunk game, and it's also the name of a tabletop cyberpunk game as well, which I thought was a bit strange. Yeah.
A cyber what game?
A cyber.
I heard it too. I heard that.
What punk?
No,
no,
you said
no,
cyberpunk.
You said cybercunt.
I did not say cyber. No, I did not. I said cyberpunk.
You did.
Roll it back.
You said
Roll it
cyberpunk.
back.
No.
I'm looking forward to Cybercunt 2077 more than any other game this year. Now that they fixed all the bugs.
I think there's mods for that.
There's
Nice.
don't Scott.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that I said it. Yeah, maybe it's because I got these things in, so my speech is kind of muffled in my own head. But
Hey, look, we all have a Rich Evans moment here and there.
it's
It happens to us all.
I can't help it. I need to see a therapist. Anyway.
Wes.
Yeah, so once I finish this, I gotta finish off Dread Templar because I'm halfway through that. I gotta make my way through Devulian Ultra as well because I haven't had a chance to do that. And Trepang. Trepang was the other one as well. And I've been watching
That's
all
one
of
that's
the
on my
videos.
wish list.
Yeah, I played it from the first part where you're inside the institution, and then when you get out, there's a helicopter that meets you. I didn't play it past that, which apparently is like the main bulk of the game, because that was another one that I couldn't really figure out. I'm like doing gymnastics with my fingers and stuff like that, like arthritis or some shit. Trying to figure out how to to do multiple things.
I
at
never
once.
played Trepang, and I only played like one Fear game, and it was Fear 2, and I absolutely hated the game from my
You
memory.
played one Fear game and it was Fear 2. Oh man, that's sad, man.
Yeah.
Because it's all about Fear 1. Everyone.
Yeah, I need to play Fear 1. It looks great.
Fear 2 gets too much
Trepang
shit.
2 looks good too.
Fear 2 gets too much
Trepang
shit.
2 is also great.
The what? Do you know Trepang? It's called Trepang 2. Apparently, Trepang 1 was the dev's original game, which is about some sort of sea cucumber, because that's what a Trepang is. Completely unrelated to Trepang 2, but they called it Trepang 2 anyway. I found that out yesterday.
Interesting.
That's some Super Mario Brothers 2 bullshit right there. That's like completely different.
If
not
you know,
even the
you
same
know.
thing.
Was it
Not in the same.
Doki Doki or something or other that game is?
Yeah, this is without a doubt a Doki
Doki Panic.
moment.
Yes.
And yet, that was my
It's
favorite.
just fun to say Doki Doki.
Yeah, I thought Mario 2 was actually far superior to Mario 1. It's not as good as Mario 3. Mario 3 was game changing.
Yeah, I would say Super Mario 3 is pretty good shit.
Yeah,
so.
man. I like the little.
I actually like Mario 2 a
community.
lot.
Yeah.
It is, as long as you can get past the differences, that it presents. It's we're used to it though because we enjoy franchises that are very different. You look at the Quake games, etc. Serious Sam. Each game has a particular style, and
Right.
Mario 2 is it's exactly the same thing. It's Mario, it's
Well,
just different style.
If you
Super
look
Mario
at that
World
era of
is
gaming,
my
that era of gaming like NES when they started doing sequels and sequels weren't really a thing. Like they just were like, well, here's another game with these characters. We're gonna do something different, but it's just gonna star these characters.
Before
We
that,
weren't in that mindset of we're going to give you more of the same.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you more, but different but better. Let's just fucking Zelda 2 or Castlevania 2 or just any of the sequels
Doom
from that
2.
era. We're like, wait, so we're gonna do another one, but we're doing it how? What are we gonna?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It was fucking wild.
Or it was like a significant jump forward, like a Twisted Metal 1 to Twisted Metal 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like, wow, it's still the same gameplay loop, still the same concept, but you've gotten so much better at this that it feels like its own thing.
Like Street Fighter 1 to Street Fighter 2. Like that is just an incredible
That's a big one.
jump.
Change. Yeah.
Street Fighter 1 is actually really janky as hell. I played it 2 weeks ago because I got that anniversary edition with all the old games.
I did the same thing.
And it's like, what the hell? I could barely control it on the Xbox. But this is how old I am, though. I remember even before the NES, when there was like Amstrad and the Commodore and stuff, and they would just bang out game after game. And there's one particular franchise called Dizzy the Egg, and they would have Dizzy in Magic Land, Dizzy Treasure Island, Dizzy, but they weren't called sequels. They were just new games within a particular franchise.
Like different titles, but it's almost the same thing.
Exactly, yeah. And this was like 1983 or something like that.
Yeah, that was like every single like licensed game back in like the Super Nintendo days and stuff. It was like a licensed 2D platformer that was exactly the same as like Mario or any other like popular 2D platform at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of never changed, I guess, because like you look at any licensed like game on PS2 or something, and it's all like a hack and slash style game that's just copying like either God of War, Devil May Cry,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that is that back in the day when something was kind of dismissed as being a copy of like Dante's Inferno. Dante's Inferno is a game that I never played because everyone said, "Oh, it's just a copy of God of War."
It's
right? And back in that mindset, I was like, "Oh, well then screw it," right? But now I would give anything for 10 copies of old God of War.
Yeah.
So like I want to I want to go play it now, right? So
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
It was easy to dismiss the whole it's just a clone of this.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe we should appreciate the clones of the
buy,
things that we love, because those things are going to disappear.
You can buy
How the fuck do we get a Half-Life if we
don't?
don't clone Doom over and over?
Yeah.
I got it on PS3.
I was gonna say, like, Doom clones is like an entire subgenre to people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then Boomer Shooters even brought it back all over again.
The thing is, with each clone, everyone adds their own slight tweaks to it, and that's how you move the industry forward.
Right.
So you're right. That's how you
I also
get
get the impression that was a more derogatory term back then.
Yeah,
like I've read some of those
was,
gaming magazines. That was more like, you'd be amazed at what they thought was worth criticizing. I mean, I guess everybody can look back on something and not have a problem with it because they've outgrown the datedness of it, or they pre-expect it to be dated in some way.
People were very
to copy one formula.
You're right.
To copy a formula and then innovate on it is something that has to be done to like further video games, art, movies, whatever, anything. Something is created, and usually that thing was inspired by something else. You keep going back and back and back and back. Something was inspired by something else, and you got to innovate on it. I mean, it's kind of like, don't get me wrong, I love Doom, I love Quake and stuff like that, but if I had to pick a favorite of those like old 90s, type of shooters, I would say anything build engine is like my favorite, just because
Blood would be my favorite
level
of that era.
Ion Fury.
Blood is so
I
good.
just love, I know what you're going to say. I know.
Don't jump us forward 30 years, dog.
Seriously, we're all old enough as it is.
Yeah, but like I was gonna say, Blood is awesome, and I'm just recently really getting more into Blood, and it's very much up my alley. But I still think I'd pick Duke over Blood. Sure. Big fan of. I really like Duke, but I grew up a big Schwarzenegger fan and stuff like that. So
I think part of that might be because Blood is a more refined game, and it's more dedicated, and it's more like it's surgical about what it wants to do to challenge the player. Especially for me after playing Duke all the way through for the first time, I think Duke is more designed to be a thrill ride. Like it's designed to give you that power fantasy, that player agency. Even when it's hard, it's not that hard because it wants you to feel like you're the guy, you're the Schwarzenegger in the movie with the fucking
Blood
minigun, and you're plowing it.
Destroy you. Like,
Oh God,
so easily.
I haven't played it all the way through yet, but I've tried playing it. I tried playing it on Well Done because I was like, no, I can do this. I didn't get past the first fucking map.
Yeah,
because of my own hubris.
Yeah, you get killed so easily in Blood compared to like Duke. I mean, I could play through the entirety of Duke on the same difficulty as Blood. Doesn't matter if it's normal, hard, or whatever.
Yeah.
I have so much more opportunity to live in Duke than I do in Blood. Like it's just Blood's just a harder game in general. It is also an even more like polished and fleshed out game as well, because it was kind of like near the end, the end of that era of build engine stuff. Shadow Warrior was at the end too. And Shadow Warrior is really good. I really, really like Shadow Warrior.
It's so hard.
I haven't had as much time with the original compared to like Duke.
Did you say Shadow Warrior was so hard?
What did you? Deadforge said that.
Famously so. Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I said Blood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Deadforge. What the fuck? I thought Shadow Warrior was so easy. No, I'm messing with you.
No.
Dude,
no.
I played the first Shadow Warrior a couple of years ago for the first time, and like I just blazed through it. I don't know, maybe I did something wrong, but I haven't played.
I haven't played enough.
I just came off
Shadow
of
Warrior.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, what makes Blood so intense? I mean, people don't want to admit it, but it is the hit scanning. The difference between well done and the difficulty under it is the hit scanning. And when you play on well done, you just peek your foot around a corner and you get sniped. And it sucks. It's super cheap, but what does it make you do? It makes you scared. And so it makes you start throwing dynamite around corners to clear out threats. And when you play like that, that's when Blood becomes fun. And so, like, I tried to play well done my first time, and I just got murdered. I'm like, okay, I'm going to lower it. And I'm like, well, now I just feel like I'm blazing through. Okay, I'm going to go back to well done now that I'm a little more familiar. I was like, oh, okay, well, now I get it. I have to be scared of getting sniped so that I actually engage with the really fun mechanics, which is the ricocheting explosives around corners. That's that's half the game. And you have to get yourself in that mindset of not thinking, oh, hit scan, it's so cheap. It's like, it's cheap, but what's your answer to that? And that's where Blood really shines.
Blood also does a really good job of. Blood does a really good job letting you know that's just part of the rule set instead of it feeling like an oversight too.
Yeah.
Like you don't go into a Souls game anymore and go, well, I mean, maybe this one will be easier than the last one. It's like, give it to me. And Blood, like from the second mission on, was just destroying me. I was like, God, I have no recourse at all. And then you just sort of get used to it. And you're like, okay, I just gotta lean into it. It's an abusive relationship. Let's do it.
Kind of like, I guess, wrap up what I was saying. Now I think Shadow Warrior is about the same difficulty as Duke. But the reason I think that the build engine games are like the ones of those 90s shooters I think would be better is because of all the innovation that they had. I mean, between like a voice protagonist, even if it's just saying one-liners, it's the environmental interactivity. You know, they did a lot more with like scaling and stuff like that, and then they tried to pull off a 3D that was still also not 3D, but it still gave you the ability to look, and they just scrolled the screen using the 2D sky scroller tech.
Yeah, I thought that when I was
they just did a lot of cool stuff.
When I was playing Selaco a few weeks ago or something like that, and as I'm playing it and you're opening the doors and stuff, I'm thinking, you know, for a game that's made in GZ Doom, this feels very build engine like. It's like how they iterated on the GZ Doom engine, that it's so advanced that it felt more like I was playing a build engine game. It's just the sprites in it. But that's another one that I need to finish as well then afterwards. But it's
I still haven't played Selaco.
Selaco's in a really it's in a really good place right now after a couple of major updates.
Yeah.
It feels really smooth to play.
I haven't touched it since the new update. I'm actually not too familiar with what they changed.
Well, the main one that I covered myself was the change to the shotgun, to where there's now an upgrade that you can purchase that lets you pull out the shotgun faster during weapon swap.
Oh, right.
Okay.
It's pretty slow.
I like that.
So, because it felt like a really long time to be able to pull up the shotgun, because a shotgun is something, when you're in something that's really fast paced like Selaco and you see someone that's coming up on you, you want to be able to pull out that shotgun and say, get the fuck off me.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't because the swap speed was so slow.
Yeah.
And it turned the shotgun into something that you mainly had to use as like holding a corner and like peeking around the corner using it. And now there's an optional upgrade that will reduce the swap time to where you can pull it out and get that one shot off. It doesn't make the shotgun faster overall, but it lets you switch to it and get that one shot off before you have to reload it. And that one shot makes a difference. And the game just overall feels smoother just because of that one change. It's really great. And there's another change that's coming in the new update where they're going to have passive reloading as an option.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, not overall, but you can turn on the option to where after a gun has been in your pocket for, however much time, it auto reloads the next clip. So you don't you don't end up in that Proteus situation where you finish a whole fight and now you got to reload 7 guns before you go into the next room.
Yeah.
So it's,
I'm on record that I fucking hate reloading in first person shooters. I don't give a good goddamn about realism. Reloading sucks ass. And like the passive reloading, if you at least give me that in a game where you force me to reload, I'll take it. I don't want to fucking reload. Reloading is reloading.
I love it.
I hate it. I hate it. I want to just shoot the shit.
So it adds to the tension.
I don't want to sit there. 1, 2, and here we go again. No,
it depends. Look, like all things, context matters. It depends on the game. Yeah. Like if it's a 2-weapon game, then I understand the reloading. But if you have 9 weapons, that you got to reload after every fight, that's when it becomes tedious. When it becomes a smart, interesting decision, that's when it's good. It's not that it's always bad or it's always good. It depends on the game.
It depends on the loop. I liked how Shadow Warrior 3 handled it, where if you're using the same 2 weapons over and over, it's going to make you reload them. But as long as you're switching weapons, and giving it enough time, it'll automatically reload that weapon.
Huh. Yeah, that was a good. The sword that the sword would reload your gun. That was a great way of getting you to use the sword.
You know, I actually, it's funny because I've been playing some more Bulletstorm again because I'm working on a Bulletstorm related project, and it's funny because that's actually a game that I think would benefit from not having reloads, but like I still enjoy reloading in video games because like I just think it's satisfying to watch it, and I kind of use that as a determining factor of like reload animation on how good gunplay is. Shit. Just I mean, it's just when you got like a good gun animation, I'm like you know. So it's just
like I can definitely get down on the reload animations, but like it is especially painful when you have a game where you can upgrade to like reload faster, and it's like, don't you fucking do it. Don't you do that to me. Just reload faster in the beginning so I can get back to killing things.
It's never
because I always seem to die in the middle of reloading.
Because
that's what happens to me.
Yeah.
I find reloading adds to the tension. Adds to the tension of a fight. If you pull out a game and shoot,
if done right. If done right.
Yeah. Well, I was saying with like Bulletstorm, I think that it could benefit from something like that because that's a game that like when you play on like very hard, for instance, which is pretty fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you reload, you're probably gonna fucking die because you take so much damage, and like if any moment where you're not shooting, it's just almost death. So you gotta like really get good at swapping all your weapons, like if you're playing an overkill where you have everything and you're not starting from the beginning. Which I haven't played from the very beginning on very hard. Sounds like a pain in the ass. I don't want to do that. But you know, so I think if it didn't have reload, it'd be perfect because that'd be almost the only thing that, you know, other than the ability to jump, that would make that game, you know, more of a classic shooter.
Can I
so it's kind of an ode to that anyway.
I think I like more like somewhat like organic ways of having you work around like the weapons systems versus like reloading. Like in Doom, the shotgun can only shoot so fast because you have to pump with each round. In Duke, the pistol, like he automatically reloads the pistol after every so many rounds. Or like in Quake, you gotta wait. Quake 2, you gotta wait for the chain gun to wind up before it starts firing, and then you gotta wait for it to wind down. When you have more like kind of, I guess, organic, semi-environmental built-in pros and cons to weapons, like, okay, I have to deal with this, I have to deal with that, so like, what weapon am I going to use based around that? Like that, I think in my head makes more sense because it's almost like skill-based in choosing what you want to use versus like, okay, now I have to watch my guy load in like 5 or 6 shells before I can shoot it again.
Yeah, but that takes away from the immersive feeling, man.
Yeah.
I want fantasy. I want power fantasy.
It takes away the player agency.
Not exactly playing Doom Eternal to get immersed.
I tried playing Doom Eternal on PC, and I was so bad at it. I quit in frustration. But it's because I don't know how to quick swap weapons. Play on PC.
You played it on Stadia.
Understandable.
I played it on Stadia and I played it on Xbox and I beat it on there, but as soon as I tried it on PC, I was absolutely useless because I'm quite new to playing on keyboard and mouse. The first game I ever beat was Rot, which was 2 years ago or something like that.
Yes, okay. yes.
And after we did our last podcast with Yaksho, we showcased Proteus on that. and the footage was like it was Zero Master, and he was blazing through the whole thing at 100 miles an hour. So I got in the mood for Proteus after watching that video, right? So I'm going around, and I noticed that if I just kind of flick this up, it changes the weapon. So I was just shooting once, flicking it, shooting once, flicking it. And that was as close as I got to quick swapping it, but man, it made you feel like you were absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, man, he actually he's a master when it comes to that stuff, man. He's been playing these damn things forever.
If you try to get into quick swapping on keyboard, my advice to you is to bind your 3 most favorite weapons to Q, C, and E. Those are the easiest, like right there. A ring finger on Q, index finger on E and C, right there.
I can
That's
see
super
that.
easy to get those 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Put your ballista, rocket, and shotgun right there.
See,
and then you can get a newcomer into general weapon swapping by just limiting it to 2 or 3 options that are very easy to reach.
Yeah,
that would be a good way to get into it.
Crazy for me to comprehend, because like I just live and die by the numbers at the top, and I use Q to like switch back to last weapon used, and it's like if anything goes beyond 5, then I bind it to Z, X, and C. Yeah, and that's just how
I've never done that.
I just changed this man's life.
Oh no, you two just gave me a lot to think about, because Doom Eternal is the first game where I ever like did custom keybinds for everything. So like, if I'm like my mouse wheel, mouse up is chainsaw, mouse down is either the crucible or the hammer. Control is grenade. C switches between the regular grenade and the freeze bomb. R is the flamethrower. So like. That's the first time I ever did custom binds, because I was like, Deadforge, I was with you, quick swapping, not a thing that I could ever get into. Not with keyboard anyway. So like for me, the best option I ever had was Q. Like I would use the weapon wheel to set up the 2 weapons that I wanted to swap back and forth between, hit Q when I wanted to swap between them, and then if it's like, well, fuck it, now I gotta bring something else out. All right, I'm just holding down Q, I'm bringing out the weapon wheel, and I'm slowing down time long enough to pick the weapon that I want, and then we just gotta negotiate it from there. Because I don't have a fancy gamer mouse with like 10 buttons on it.
I was going to say that. Can you just remap the buttons on a mouse instead?
Actually,
good.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have side buttons.
More than likely.
Yeah.
I think the only game that I started like going crazy with keybinds with was actually like the first Quake, and it was mainly because right click doesn't do anything like too crazy, so I would just bind the rocket launcher to right click, and then a couple things to up and down on the scroll wheel, and that was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Let's say that game would absolutely benefit.
Now it's man looks closer.
He's taking mental notes. He's like, oh.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. I would do grenade launcher on Z, because like for some reason that just feels natural going from A to Z with my ring finger. And then rocket launcher on right click, and then I think I did thunderbolt on scroll up, and that was really it.
See, this is why I like talking to other people who play the same games that I do, because then I get opened up to like.
Me realize I'm really bad at that. No, I'm
kidding. Boy, do I! Oh my god! But no, like to get that, like I never would have thought of that. Like, it was Mayo's videos on the full auto for the shotgun in Doom Eternal that made me go, you know what? Like, even though the sticky grenades are good for certain options, I was like, no, fuck it. I want to go full auto. I want to turn this into a thing that I'm good at. And it's like every combat encounter I go into now, I've got full auto set up and ready to go. Like I challenge myself to do that, and I've gotten so used to it that when I think it was like the stone imps, when there was like, yeah, kill them with full auto. It's like I'm here for this already. Let's go. I love hearing about the keybinds and like this is how I play this game, because then you're like, I never would have fucking thought about that.
I think full auto is a term that Mayo was probably at this point able to copyright, because when you hear the words full auto, you think under the Mayo.
It became bizarre at a point, and then people who are staunchly against it are like, hey, can't people just kind of use what they want? Isn't it cool? But about keybinds, for me, like I don't have any certain key that's always something, but one key, Z, is always assault rifle, no matter what I play. Anything I play, I have Z associated with. That's going to be my assault rifle option. And I'm going to blow your mind a little bit. In Doom Eternal, Z and C are both heavy cannon. I have them dual binded. That way,
so you tap it once and it switches to the other one?
No, it's so that I can do PB rocket swaps when I'm strafing left or right.
Oh my god!
I hold A to move left, and I use C for precision bolt. And if I'm moving right with D, I use Z for precision bolt.
Dude, I'm staring at my laptop, and it's just the mental arithmetics of trying to follow.
So my movement is never interrupted by my PB swaps, no matter where I'm moving. It's fun.
Listen, guys, this shows that we may be good at first-person shooters, but these two guys are very, very good at first-person shooters.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know what?
They got into a science.
If you've ever played BPM bullets per minute, that game has a really cool reload mechanic where you reload the gun to the beat, and if it's a weapon that you need to reload every like a revolver where you're reloading every bullet, you have to keep tapping R to the beat. It sounds horrible, but it's really fun. Yeah. But because reload is on R by default, trying to use that while strafing to the right, it's horrible.
Dude, I said that in my review of it. I probably have the most negative review of that game. I'm sorry, Scott guy. I respect you. I respect you. You like the game, cool. But I did say in my video, I was like, you need to bind reload to the side mouse button, so that you can actually move while you're reloading.
Yep, that's exactly what I did when I was playing it, and it's like. I didn't mind it. I just kind of got used to it. But yeah,
we heard.
No, it's a cool mechanic.
I rebounded it. Like,
I know.
It is a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
Get enough.
Xbox people out there don't talk about these problems.
No, it's just simple key bindings. You know, you just do the thing with the thing and the thing with the thing. Yeah.
You know, weapon key binding. I mean, like it applies to so much now. Like when I play the new Resident Evil remakes, right? You have real time weapon swapping. So I'm like, okay, two side mouse buttons, pistol, shotgun. Where's my sniper rifle? Where's my Magnum? You can, like, why would you want to scroll through a wheel when you can just have the weapons instantly? Like, this isn't just a high-speed first-person shooter thing. This applies to slow-paced horror games and real-time strategy games. Like it applies to most things, I would think, at this point.
Going back to Sprawl and talking about me swapping with the weapon, I can't tell you the amount of times I died where I had to scroll through like 4 different weapons just to find one that was actually loaded to shoot. And it was I don't know what it is with Sprawl, and Mayo, I think it was you that mentioned it in a video, but like when you press fire, it doesn't fire. And it led to a lot of deaths that I had in there where I basically got taken.
I don't remember that. I don't remember.
I don't know what it is, but you have to like press fire twice or something like that. And
is it like due to like pressing fire too quick after swapping weapons or something like that? I feel like I know what you're talking about. I feel like it's because there's like a delay between like swapping to the weapon and then the weapon being ready to fire. And there's like
flashbacks
to Phantom Fury.
That's exactly it.
Oh, please don't.
It doesn't fire straight away. It's like once you switch to a weapon, you have to wait a moment or something before you can use it.
It's like there's like an animation delay or something before fire is activated, and then you have to. I think I know what you're talking about because I think that's got me killed a bunch. I think I got me killed a bunch when I like swapped to a weapon and then I'm like, what the hell happened? You know, and like getting shot up and so then I just have to do like a bunch of wall hopping, backflip shit. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time.
You know how there's enemies in Sprawl with the backpacks and you can shoot the backpacks and it explodes and it hurts the other enemies around them.
So useful. Yeah.
You just herd them into a corner and then shoot them out of the backpack.
You're welcome. Because they used to not that explosion used to not affect anyone around them.
Oh right.
Oh nice.
Okay then.
So
okay.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, suggestion.
I would because it's a movement shooter and there's a lot of verticality. I would with people in groups, I would go onto a higher ledge, wait for them all to come here, and then I would just shoot down at the one guy that would take them all out. And that and just running the dogs off buildings. That was a legitimate strategy.
I did that all the time. Yeah.
A legitimate
I think we
strategy
talked about that in another episode.
Yeah.
I feel like just bringing back memory of us talking about that. So I was told that the idea was to, discuss Dusk to some degree, right? So I want to kind of pivot to that, but for some reason that's like it's caused it to be in my mind. Like I'm writing my Bulletstorm script, and like there's Dusk in there now, and then I end up watching the no clip Dave Oshry podcast documentary thing that he's doing now. So he has podcast episodes that are like full like developer documentary style things. Very interesting. He has a bunch of them now. And then I'm like, what the hell? And then I keep remembering I have yet to beat Dusk. Like, what? And I've owned Dusk since episode 1 was in early access. Wow. But my laptop at the time was absolute dog shit. And I couldn't even play Dusk on it. Like it was very bad. Yeah. And then it ended up being like I'd hop into it every now and then, like when they released a new episode, and then like, oh, I'd play it this time. I even hopped into it when they made the like HD remaster version you can play or whatever. Yeah. And I still haven't beat the fucking game. I don't know what the hell's happening here. I don't know why. I just haven't like sat down and just devoted time to beating Dusk because it's so damn good.
One level
and that original trailer.
One level
I mean, it's so good. Every time I've sat down and played it, I've made it a little bit further, and it's so fucking good. And it's even better now, like that they've updated it, and the HD version I think looks really cool. And like it's so good. That original marketing with the original trailer, that shit sold me because it was like Doom and Quake and blood and like just the whole thing. Dave was actually talking about it in the no clip thing. He was talking about how like just cheesy and shit that was. He was like, we had no idea if that was going to work. Like it just, we didn't think it was going to work at all because it was so damn cheesy and shit. But then it just like, that was probably the reason it did work.
That was how I first heard about the game through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was that effective. And like at that point, I wasn't even playing first person shooters because I didn't have a strong enough PC. So like I was still trapped in the, like, if you want to play first person shooter, it's got to be on a console, and like I'm OG mouse and keyboard, so I'm not a console first person shooter. I love console games, but I'm not a console FPS guy. But that was how I first heard about that game because of that, and that's what got me wanting to play it when I came time. Let me get back into this genre that I love, and first time I played it, I didn't get it. I was like, okay, this was fine, but I think it's trying a little too hard to be nostalgic. And then when I came back around and replayed it, I was like, I fucking get this now. Yep. It's like Dusk to me is a game that's up there with Doom and Duke and Quake and Half-Life and Halo as this is a watermark. Yeah. We just hit a new watermark, and it's lightning in a bottle. And for better or for worse, this is what we need to look at as the new modern trend. Like, what are we trying to produce? What's good about games? And it just distills it down into one big passion project that's firing on all creative cylinders.
It's weird, but like you would think that we would have more games like Dusk since it was kind of the beginning of this whole resurgence of this old school, what we now call boomer shooter type subgenre. And even though that's going like so many different directions now with like the M-Sims and the Bioshock likes and the Half-Likes and the all kinds of other, directions we're going in. But it's like there's really not that many that are like really 100% like copying Quake or Doom, really. Like they're all a lot more innovative in every imaginable
way. The only one that really comes
to
my mind is Herald of Havoc in a way.
Yeah, which fucking love that game. Fucking love that game. I went back and like played the new like some of the new stuff when they added the new enemies, new art stuff, and like one new level and stuff. I love that game. It just feels so fucking good. But, I mean, I think that and Dusk are like the only ones that are truly copying like the simple, timeless aspects of Doom and Quake specifically. Like there's just Doom and Quake. They're so unique and they last forever. They're stuck in this limbo of being just these perfectly designed games till the end of time because they're so simple and easy to like just get into and then hard to master. And it's just the perfect design philosophy to create just great games. I think some of the boomer shooters out there are getting a little too complex, and they're like, a little too ambitious for their own good, kind of thing in some areas.
Any examples come to mind?
There's one that, it ends with fury, but we don't really need to go there.
Okay, well, sure, but I mean, like,
hey, Robert loves Ion Fury.
At that point, are we talking boomer shooters? I don't think we are.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking boomer shooters.
It's
taking out the garbage.
Categorized in that area, but it's not a boomer shooter, really. No. But we're getting to that point, though, where what does that even mean anymore? Because originally Dusk was like kind of what got it started, and I would say Dusk and Herald of Havoc could be technically in that area, but I mean, Phantom Fury is more of a half-like, I guess, kind of thing, and but then you have kind of right, but then you have like Selaco, which is seems half-likey, but also immersive semi in areas. Hey, we just get into like
fear
craziness.
It's like Doom meets fear and Half-Life. Like it's like you. But it's like fear. I think you can easily call Selaco a boomer shooter because of like the aesthetics and the fucking crazy constant action. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It is still very run and gun in a lot of aspects of his combat, but it also leans into the fear AI and tactical shooting, and it has some Half-Life style level design, but it's still got a lot of run and gun DNA inside of it. Maybe it's not 100% boomer shooter, but I don't think that it's wrong to call it a boomer shooter, whereas other shooters, you wouldn't want to do that at all.
There's a few criteria, I think, for me for calling something a boomer shooter, which is non-regenerating health. You need to pick up items to regain health, and like Selaco does pass that. Like you do regenerate health up to like either 25 or 35, but then if you want to regain health after that, you got to pick it up. Having more than 2 weapons, so that if you're having 5-6 weapons, however many, you're more than 2, and then fast-paced action, fast-paced combat. Like the idea is you're running and you're gunning. Even if you have moments of like slowing down or like using Selaco as an example again, the section when you're in the science plant and there's all the plant monsters coming at you and everything, that turns into a cat and mouse game experience, but it's still well within the boomer shooter mechanics. And like, I think that for me is where I go, okay, that's just like, that's the bottom of the pyramid. And then you can build on top of that, and then you can change the construct of it as you go, and you can turn it into something more than just a boomer shooter. But if you're using that as its base, that's for me what when I'm putting games into my Steam genre, when I like, okay, this is going to be a horror game, this is a boomer shooter, those are the base mechanics that I'm using.
I agree with that.
Tactical boomer shooter. 100%. It's 100%.
It's getting a little muddled. It's like a little muddy, like people are kind of just taking anything that is retro to them in the new shooter like indie shooters. Anything indie shooter is like being called a boomer shooter. You take something like Cult, which is being called a boomer shooter, but it literally resembles games that were coming out like 2010 to 2015. You know what I mean? More so than anything 90s or early 2000s.
Well, I mean,
even if you go to something like
a lot of blood. Cult has a lot of blood.
Cult with the K, not the Cult.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard.
No, Cultic is very
crunchy. Isn't this what we were talking about?
I don't know this Cult game.
It's like KVLT. It looks very like Deadforge saying 2010s. Like what is it?
World War II supernatural horror. That's what it is.
This is two on the tip of my tongue. Was Wolfenstein 2009, and that other one was Singularity or something.
Yeah,
there's like 2 really obvious ones. I really like those. Are my first 2 inspirations. Like yes,
but
it's very much like that.
We literally spoke about this earlier on, though. Something is successful, and then people take that formula and iterate on it for what they want to do, and it becomes something else. Now that the boomer shooters are reiterating on what used to be popular, they're adding their little bits to it, and it will turn into something else. I do want to say, though, that we did put some questions out to the public that we need to ask you guys, and you're aware of what they are. And from my side here,
Trav guy looks nervous.
Yeah, I do need to wrap up, and I do need to wrap up in about 10 minutes from my side as well. So if we could dive into these questions.
Man, I barely even got to say anything this episode. Hold on, I gotta say my manifesto real quick. No, I'm kidding. All right. No, I already said what I was gonna say. I had like this whole bit where I was gonna say like, oh yeah, I think my favorite thing about Boom Shoots is like kind of feels like a fighting game sometimes. Then I remember I said that on Mayo's podcast like 3 years ago. Now I'm not gonna say it.
It's just a callback now. Just a callback. You're good.
Cheers to that, my friend.
Everybody quiet.
I love Mortal Kombat. JK, I've never played it.
Okay,
so, hold on. This is a whole other thing right there.
Yeah. So the first question, talking about Selaco. So guess who pops in and asks a question here? And it's not actually a question. And Nextix says that. Not really a question. Not really a question. Nerd! But I'd like to take I've never got the chance to call someone a nerd through a podcast before, so I'd like to take this opportunity. Please tell Trav Guy he's a nerd on my behalf. Nerd! Nerd!
Oh, damn.
I don't want it.
Excellent.
Thank you, Nextix.
Oh, God.
So, second question. This was from Shannon, my Geraldine. I'd just love to hear a segment, Ruby, be quiet. I'd just love to hear a segment where they debate on whether or not the Doom 3 shotgun is any good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
I
don't
understand. The best melee weapon in first-person shooters.
It is, yeah. It's as good as a hammer or a fucking baseball bat. That's how good it is.
Yeah, you treat it like a fucking hammer, and it works like a hammer. I don't understand the problem. It works.
If you are going
if you
around,
use it like a hammer, everything's a nail.
Like hitting everything with the Doom 3 shotgun, it's like, it does feel kind of good. I won't lie.
It feels good.
Yeah, the Doom 3 shotgun does feel good. I genuinely do believe that it's good.
It is.
Obviously, the biggest issue is that like the distance is just weird on it. But when it hits right, it's good.
Yeah.
I think I said this in my April Fool's Doom 3 video that it plays like a survival horror shotgun. It's like a Resident Evil shotgun. Like you get up 100%. And you blast them in the chest or the head. You don't stand 10 feet away from someone in Resident Evil and shoot them with a shotgun.
Right.
And then Doom 3 follows
intentionally
the same
pitched.
And I think.
Do you guys class Doom 3 as a survival horror game?
No, absolutely not.
Action horror all the way.
I just said that for
closer to
reaction.
one than other Doom games.
True. I play it like it is a survival horror game. Like I think Mayo and I interacted with
I never
about
use the
this
flashlight.
on Twitter.
I go into the darkness with a gun.
He's a real man.
I put it out there. Mayo was like, it's not a survival horror, and I was like, you know what? You're the survival horror guy. I understand where you're coming from. So no, I don't think it's a survival horror game. Do I play it like one? Yes, I do. And I think that's the way it's meant to be played. And I think when you play it that way, all of these little tiny mechanics that a lot of people complain about, like the shotgun, all click into place and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we got the game. Doom shotgun. The first Doom shotgun was pinpoint accuracy from across the map, and that's not how a shotgun works.
No.
So.
No. Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely like more of a horror game. That's why I say action horror. But like, I don't know. I don't play it like a survival horror game. Like, I don't play it really like slow and steady. I play it more fast and cautious. Because that game's really only like truly a horror game for like maybe a quarter, and then it starts getting to where like you walk in every room and it's like fucking monsters coming out everywhere. Like it becomes like a whole nother thing.
I'm a huge
I have had universally bad takes on. Shut up, Ruby. I have had universally bad takes on Doom 3. My video was really bad. I forgot.
Didn't you apologize in your video for it?
I apologized in one video.
Yeah,
I did. I was more like, hey, I didn't really look at this very critically. I just kind of wanted to move on to Doom 2016. All right, what?
Oh my God, Sharon, what
were you going to say, Ruby? I'm sorry.
That must be so embarrassing to have bad takes. I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, it really is.
How do you deal with it?
I don't care. Yeah. I literally if there's people that just come into my comment sections to be like dicks about it, I will literally hit the hide from channel button because it's like you're not offering anything constructive. I don't care.
Speaking of which, the next question is from Yellow Paint Enthusiast FPS Ethics.
I know that guy. Classic.
What is the funniest or stupidest YouTube comment you've ever gotten? And I think we probably need to go through each person. Let's go through everyone. Deadforge. Deadforge, what's the funniest one you ever got?
Why'd you have to start with me?
Because you're in the top left on my screen.
No?
Yeah.
If you go to someone else, I have to have time to think.
Medium, what about you?
God, I feel like there's definitely ones I've forgotten, but I got a funny one today. It was so I made an Aliens Colonial Marines, and it was sort of apologetic for it, basically like saying it's not as bad as you've heard. Sure, there's plenty of things, X amount of things you should still hate or whatever. And someone told me that as a buyer of the collector's edition on day one, everything was terrible. I know my stuff. You should be either ashamed or like you shouldn't be making like doing the irresponsible task of even thinking about making videos like this to convince people otherwise that it has any redeeming qualities. And I was like, all right.
Oh shit, man! They are out there and they are breeding these people.
Yeah, it was like an ultimatum.
People take this so seriously.
It was like I was indoctrinating the kids or something.
God, can you not think about the children?
Ranger, what about you?
I will give a brief shout out to the number of comments that I got on my Marathon 2 is Bad video. The comments that were all just like 6 paragraphs of encyclopedic lore confirming why I was wrong about the game, because the story is not that bad. Here's the entire story, and I'm like, you told me the story, the game didn't tell me the story, it's still bad. But I think for me, I had one recently in my Citadella video, because I'm Quake dad, I'm game dad, I talk to the kids, I'm like, hey kids, it's dad here, because I am a dad in real life. I've been a dad for like 20 years, and someone was like, it's really derogatory of you to talk to us and call us kids, because like based on the sound of your voice, like that's just no way you should even be doing that. And my response was, I'm a 40. Yeah, my response was, oh wait, no, I almost forgot the best part. He said that Civvy can get away with doing that because he sounds old and jaded, and you don't.
The best part is that Civvy's like 5 years older than me, which is really funny.
I would be surprised if he was older than me, but also not surprised. But my response
I won't tell you how old he is, but he is not older than you.
Okay, yeah. My response to the comment was, I am a 42-year-old father of 5. I'm sorry I don't sound the way you want me to. Yeah. Like, I'm dad. I'm talking to the
Shout out to breaking gender norms.
Yes, yeah!
Fuck you very much. Trav, what about you?
Oh, God.
All right, so I can't remember the worst ones, but I have a couple I'm going to name off the top of my head because they were recent. One of them is that I'm still getting comments on my Doom 3 video accusing me of trying to create revisionist history, because I took the accounts of people close to me that played Doom 3 when it was new, and they were like, what the fuck is this? And so, I kind of took that as something I mentioned in my video, and so many people are like, no, everyone thought it was awesome, it was the best game ever when it came out, still is actually. So those are fun. I'm still getting comments like this like 5 years later. But one of them that I got a couple days ago, it wasn't on my Doom video, it was on a community post, so I'm kind of breaking the rules a bit, but it was just saying, hey, I have to take a little bit longer on this video I'm working on, got to change some things. And then someone just immediately was like, well, at least you're not editing it to do, and then they just immediately reference this like controversial like drama that's going on, just like immediately making it about that. And I literally responded. I didn't respond to like any other comments on it, but I responded to them like, why the fuck are you bringing that up here? And they were just like, oh, chill, man, I was just making a joke. I was just talking about like this horrible person that did this horrible thing. I thought it was funny. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
The internet really has given license for people to show how stupid they can be without consequence.
Yeah,
it really has.
I literally said like, okay, I know what you're referencing, I just don't know why you would bring it up.
Yeah.
And one of their last response to me before I gave up was literally like, okay, I get it, we're not allowed to make jokes anymore. I'm like, okay, chill out, dude.
Mayo, what about you?
Oh, how much time do you have?
As much as you can give.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, we could go through Resident Evil 3 Remake. We could go through so much stuff. I'll give a special shout out to the college essay length comments on my Devil May Cry 5 video where I said everything in the game was purple. And I had so many comments telling me that Nero's jacket is not purple, it's blue. And, just all this color theory behind it. That was especially entertaining. But I mean, come on, how the winner absolutely has to be Ultra Kill. Why don't you try using more than one weapon? Commented on a video that literally shows me using at least 5 weapons. Like that's the best comment. Still get it every day.
Yeah.
Love that.
And it will never stop being funny.
Oh my god! Oh my god! So to round things off, then we have the last one here from Martin at Martin Mercenary.
Please skip me over.
Oh right, we're gonna go back.
I need a second.
Yeah, we're gonna go back.
Bitch, get in there then.
He is 90%, so yeah.
Nah, jeez. Fine. Yeah. No, I haven't really had any like super terrible ones. I had like a couple like, well, actually kind of comments, which I always love. I had one on my Borderlands video that I did, and I don't think the guy was like really kind of being too much of a dick, but he was like just making an assumption that I just kind of knew absolutely nothing about Borderlands. And because I said certain things, he was like, well, actually,
Mm-hmm.
the Iridians that you fight at the end are not actually Iridians. They're actually clones of the blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I already know this, but like, I don't really need to go into that information because when you're playing the game, everybody thinks that they're Iridians. You know what I mean? Like they're technically created by them. They're not actually the aliens, but of them. So anyway.
Never played Borderlands.
It was a whole
clue
thing.
What you just said.
Yeah, it was just
what?
It was another language.
Just watch
it was
the
like a
movie,
whole
you'll
thing.
catch up on everything.
Yeah. But no, and then he also continued on with like, well, technically Borderlands is not cell shading. It is I can't remember what it is, but it isn't they technically didn't use cell shading as the way to create the art style. It was a different style of doing it. I completely forget the name of it, and he went on a whole like rant about that. And I already knew that it wasn't cell shading, but like it's mimicking the literal look of cell shading and the whole like so. There's not a single human being other than somebody who sits and fucking gets all extra on people for cell shading and specific techniques who even knows that it's not cell shading. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's just like, oh yeah, Borderlands is cell shaded. Technically they don't use that technique, but it literally looks cell shaded. They're using another technique to mimic cell shading. It's whatever.
The worst comment, I think everyone gets it, right? It's the, well, you said this in this video.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
God.
And now you're saying this. And this like,
yeah, look at how long ago that video came out, dude.
Yeah, it's like, and there's so much context missing. Like I can say that I'm not a fan of medieval fantasy games. I'm just not. I'm not into castles and dragons and skeleton warriors and wizards and knights and swords. It's just not my thing. All right. However, if that also means apparently that I am not allowed to like any game in existence that might contain that.
Yeah.
Right? So if I ever am I like this game, I like the way, well, I thought you didn't like medieval fantasy, you fucking hypocrite. It's like, well, I mean, look, like there's exceptions, or I like how they're doing it here, or it works into this. Yeah. And it's like everything apparently has to apply 100% across every single game you ever talk about, no matter how different the game might be. Like if you don't like how a mechanic works in this one game, if you like how the same mechanic works in another game, then you're a hypocrite, even though the context might be completely different. That is probably single-handedly the most annoying thing to deal with, because you can't argue against it because they're already coming at you from a bizarre perspective.
Yeah. Well, bitch is gonna bitch.
Which requires way too much to recontextualize how
maybe
I'm
not a fan of spicy food. I'm not a fan of spicy food, but I like jalapeno poppers at the bar. and I like dipping them in ranch dressing. Well, I thought you didn't like spicy food. Why are you eating jalapenos, you fucking hypocrite?
Cool.
I mean, have you ever had them?
Yeah. So on that note, final question.
Hey, speaking of spicy food, hold on. Have any of you had deep fried, like sliced jalapenos?
No, but it sounds like something I would eat 10 bowls of.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like kind of like like a fried pickle, but it's fried jalapenos.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah. Those are good.
I love jalapeno. Prefer habanero, but I love jalapenos. So
fried jalapenos are phenomenal.
Final question then. From Martin at Martin Mercenary. He wants to know, what is your favorite non-boomer shooter and why? And Deadforge, we will start with you this time.
Wait, hold on, real quick. A shooter that's not a boomer shooter?
Huh?
Like, are we talking strictly shooters that isn't a boomer shooter, or just a game that's not a boomer shooter?
Shooters, right? Shooters that are not boomer shooters.
It literally just says favorite non-boomer shooter and why.
Okay, let's go on. Let's establish this as favorite shooter that's not a boom shoot.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so favorite shooter that's not a boomer shooter. Halo 2.
I don't play.
I guess.
No, sorry. What did you say? Halo.
I mean, Halo 2 is one of my favorite shooters of all time. Probably the most impactful first-person shooter that I've ever played in my entire life, to me personally, and to video games at a point as well. Not the most impactful to video games, but and the reason I love it so much is just to me, even though it was like the most troubled development Halo game and everything that like went wrong with it, even though it ended up being like one of the biggest successes they ever had, and it did so much. It was just like a really perfect package, in my opinion. It was like a really epic, just badass beginning to end experience. It was just a really fucking awesome game with great storytelling, cutscenes, everything. Just really good shit.
And a shit
really
TV show. Medium, what about you?
I'm gonna go to the 2000s. I'd say either Doom 3 or Half-Life 2. I've played those untold amount of times. Yeah, the more immersive and the more kind of like transport me to a place and leave me there, and that's my jam. But yeah, Doom 3 just because if I had to, I'll cheat and pick 2. Doom 3 just feels like he's step from a Doom game into like a Renaissance painting of hell or something. It's just so it's like Baroque, to use a nerdy word. It just feels the most realistic. It doesn't feel dressed up. It just feels like, what if they actually looked humanoid and all the textures and stuff. It's freaky and it's unnerving. And Half-Life 2 just because it's phenomenally paced and scripted and everything else. It just feels very big and very immersive.
Nice. I never
Doom 3 still has a lot of that run and gun energy. But so Half-Life 2 would Half-Life 2 would go further out of the quote unquote boomer category. But yeah, sure.
I never answered the last question, so I'll answer this one. For me, I don't know what your opinion on it is, but is Doom would you class I will slap the shit out of you.
And I like it.
Yeah. Doom Eternal. It's not a boomer shooter, but it is my favorite shooter that is not an indie shooter. So I was expecting some pushback on that. Like, who the fuck is
negative? No, it's not a boomer shooter.
Absolutely exceptional game.
I don't know what to call it. I mean, boomer shooter, arena shooter, movement shooter. I mean, there's like a lot of things that apply to Eternal. If someone called it a boomer shooter, I wouldn't object to it. But I might not call it.
Might just be
whatever.
A first-person shooter.
This is what I was thinking. Sorry, I couldn't choose between that or Thea or I love Flying Wild Hogs, Shadow Warrior Reboot, Painkiller Games, Hard Reset. These type of era sort of.
Nice.
But anyway, moving on. Ranger, what about you?
I think I could probably choose a couple of different on any given day, but I think the one that I circle back around to the most for this question would be Hexen. It's such an intricately crafted mechanical puzzle game that's so oppressive and insidious, and it really forces you to pay attention to everything that's going around. It's got some like light RPG-ish elements to it. You know, you kind of level up in a sense every time you gain a new weapon, and you also construct the final weapon over time as you search for the pieces of it. And it's the hubs and traveling back and forth and like really just paying attention, and the game is always constantly fucking with you and trying to work against you, that it's stuck into my mind to the degree where like I can run that game back and forth almost effortlessly, only because I have played it so many times. It's just, I think it's a masterpiece, and it's probably, yeah, I would say that's my favorite non-boomer shooter.
# bring back Hexen. Yeah.
Bring back Hexen.
Yeah.
Where's Hecatomb?
I have never played Hexen or Heretic, and I feel like it's an issue.
Okay, you need to remain quiet for the rest of the podcast.
I'm gonna make up for it.
What the hell? You sound like you were tickling your asshole. What the hell was that?
Oh no, that's a very different sound. Trust me.
Oh right.
It's a very different sound. Trust me.
That's for patrons.
Trav, what's your take?
So I was also going to say Half-Life 2. So to make it more interesting, I don't know. I'll probably say Deus Ex, the first one. Terrible shooting mechanics. Horrible as a shooter. Great game. Love it.
I'm about to leave a page-long comment.
That's fine. I need the engagement.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Mayo, finishing off with you, if you can.
Come on, mayonnaise boy.
Oh, I'm gonna bring it home. Bring it home.
Bring the juice.
Well, you know what? Like, one of my favorite games of all time is Unreal Tournament, but I'm gonna not call it a boomer shooter. I want to say Fear, but I'm not gonna say Fear. I'm gonna say Resistance: Fall of Man.
Ooh,
PlayStation 3.
Oldie but goldie.
Yeah. 2007, World War II, but invaded by aliens.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
I always got that mixed up with Killzone.
That game had awesome world building.
Insomniac game?
Yeah, it had incredible weapons, amazing assault rifle, grenade launcher hybrid, really cool enemy design, great campaign. Excellent hybrid mechanic of recharging health. You only recharged half your health, and then you had to find health pickup. So it had like a half and half cover shooter, old school shooter health mechanic. And I also have a bit of a sentimental connection to it because it was the first person shooter one that I ever played on console that I enjoyed, because it had a really good, like, the control felt good, the aiming felt good. They were starting to figure out console aiming around that time. And also, it was the first first-person shooter I ever played co-op with my sister.
Wow.
So I have a lot of really cool connections to it, aside from it just being a fantastic mid-2000s PS3 first-person shooter. If anyone has not played Resistance: Fall of Man, you should check it out.
I played the third.
I've only played the Vita game.
Well, there was an alien dual-wield pistol that you could get on New Game Plus, and I've never seen any other pistol work like this. Dual wield pistols, left trigger and right trigger, you could lock on to two different enemies, and then the pistol would stick onto the two different enemies as it shot. That's badass mechanic, and I haven't seen it replicated in another game. Everyone should check out Resistance: Fall of Man. If you have the time, check it out. It's pretty solid.
Excellent.
Did you like the other two?
Yeah, I'm looking at footage of this. This looks sick.
It is. I played the third one. It's really good game.
Resistance 2 and 3's campaign aren't as good as the first one. Resistance 2 had really good multiplayer. Resistance 3 I thought was kind of forgettable, but Resistance 1 I think is a gem of a game.
Nice.
Yep, right. It was a cool series.
I've enjoyed the Vita game so far. Fallen Sky, I think is what it's called. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I mean, I've enjoyed it so far. And if I'm starting at the lowest point, I can only go up. So
Resistance 1 felt like I do appreciate Halo now. I do like old Halo now, but when I was 20 years ago when I was young, I was very close-minded and I kind of rejected it for what it was doing. But Resistance was that game that came out that made me say, oh, okay, these controls feel a lot better, the aiming feels better, and it's not 100% hide behind a rock and recharge your health. You only got a little bit of health back, kind of like Selaco. right? And then you had to go find the rest of your health and health pickups. And so it was that bridge for me that got to appreciate how good a console shooter could be.
Sweet, nice.
Sick,
gentlemen. Why don't we wrap things up right now then? And Medium, you know the score. If you want to do us an outro, sir. Please.
Certainly. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our largest panel yet. The first time we've ever had more than all 4 barrels loaded. I guess we got 2 in reserve, hanging out on the side of the gun. I don't know.
Yeah, it's better.
We bringing out the guns
in your pocket.
We gotta start Come on, guys. We did this last time. This is the last time I was here.
I'm holding my crotch.
Well, consider us trumped.
The most ultimate. Oh God.
Oh, that's the BFG.
He was a stripper in a past life.
There's 90% just flashed by the lens.
Yeah.
I beat you.
You mean like past Tuesday?
I did actually strip in a works meeting once, and they got it on film. Luckily, I didn't get any trouble for it.
It seemed like they allowed for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, High Functioning Medium. You can find me at YouTube and Twitter. Deadforge, where can we find you?
You can find me at the usual places, Lord of the RPG on Twitter, Deadforge on YouTube, and Deadforge on Patreon, if you are so inclined. And I believe that's it.
Robert, if we were to search for you, where would we find you?
You can find me on Twitter. It's at RobertYapp80, and of course, you can find, I should say, the Twitter for Quad Damage is still suspended for reasons unknown. I am going through the appeal process. So anything related to this podcast, you can find on that particular Twitter that I just mentioned there.
No Snapchat?
Bitch, I have 2 sides to each hand, and you can have both of them, okay?
Both sides. Ruby,
I'm never going to stop.
Where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can find me YouTube, Instagram if you want some fun memes that I share, Twitter, Ruby Ranger with 2 R's on the end because Ruby Ranger was already taken. I will give a quick hype shout out. This is coming out tomorrow, but today, if you're watching this podcast go live on YouTube, Monday the 6th, 5th? Monday the 5th. I don't know. Look, don't ask me to give you dates. I have a new video coming out. It's called Do We Really Need Another Quake Game? Mayo was kind enough to provide a quick cameo. I hope you'll show up for that at the very least.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
NDA.
That'll even make more sense once you see the bit. But yeah, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, Ruby Ranger with 2 R's on the end.
Wherefore art thou, Trav Guy?
Oh, dude, wherefore art me? You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/@thattravguy, Twitter at the other Trav Guy because that Trav Guy was taken. And to make things worse, I'm also on Twitch at Trav Guy TV because I can't have consistency. Look, I chose such a simple name. It's a miracle that I got Trav Guy on YouTube. I'm gonna pass it over to Mayonnaise Man. Where are you?
It's a pleasure to be with you guys. Trav, again, especially nice to talk to you again. I'm under the Mayo. You can find me in the dumpster next to most of my opinions. Cheers, everybody.
Straight
Damn.
Damn. I absolutely love every one of you, man. I'm so glad we get to do this podcast. This is such a laugh when we do it.
Absolute pleasure and honor.
It was wonderful talking with Ruby again and Trav and Mayo.
I'll be more awake
awesome
next
talking to all
time.
you guys.
Excellent. Gentlemen.
Don't make promises.
Gentlemen, we should see you next time then. Yeah, so let's do it. We have to do the thingy.
But until next time.
Keep on booming.
Keep on booming. Hey.
I'm booming all over the place. Okay.
Not today.
Now to the boom. Get the boomstick to the chopper.
No chopper today.
You want ugly boom shorter.